It's the boy, Bubba Lutz, coming through. Hella clutch, flawless, can't be touched. It's your boy, Bubba Lutz. Yeah, I need that hot take. I need the truth and everything that is not fake. So tell me who's the GOAT, I'll tell you who's not great. And which team always make you go right way. Yeah.
Welcome back, Bubba Bunch, to another edition of the Bubba Lutz Sports Podcast, episode 238. The Cowboys versus, I was about to say Rams, Chargers review with Kevin this time. Will make it a lot more interesting. Yes, we're going to review the Cowboys game. I should include Cowboys versus Chargers versus refs, because that's really what the game came down to. But we'll talk about that. We have very different opinions on the game and what we've seen so far in the first two games of the season. But right before we get into that, make sure to subscribe on YouTube if you're watching this on YouTube. Make sure to leave a like, comment down below. If you're listening to this, then, follow it on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts from. And then I should start doing this a lot more often. Anchor.fm/Bubba Lutz. It'll be in the description down below, the link for it, where you can subscribe and become a member of the Bubba Bunch for $1, $5, $10 a month. If we have some new listeners, go check that out. All the money goes to me, which is really cool if you want to support me as much as you want. But I also like money, so that's also a good incentive for you to give me money.
This is the worst marketing I ever heard in my life.
Worse is a very strong word, sir.
You think so?
Yeah. Listen, man. All right. So that's out of the way. But I'm here with the ladies' man himself, Kevin, who just is so confident. A little bit of cockiness to him nowadays.
God.
And so when he's texting me after the game saying like, "Oh, I'm 2-0 and you're 1-1 because you thought the Chargers would win," it kind of hurts me a little bit.
Am I wrong though? Am I wrong?
I never said you were wrong. I'm just saying that the attitude nowadays, it just you're getting the ladies on you, and now I feel like you got Hollywood on me a little bit.
Stop.
But since we're talking about Hollywood, we'll talk about the LA Chargers and SoFi Stadium. You like that segue a little bit?
I do like it, actually. It's pretty good.
Cowboys with the squeaker of a win over the Chargers, 20-17. What an atrocious game this was. Just get that off the table.
Offensively, this game was very surprising to me. I don't understand how we went out and scored 29 against the Bucks, and then we come out and score 14, mind you. I'm counting it as 14. We scored 14 points in the first quarter, and then 6 in the fourth quarter.
Yes.
So I don't know what happened. But, I feel like there has to be a lot more discipline from the Cowboys side in the red zone, because that's when things just collapse. Because every single drive the Cowboys had, from like their own 20, their own 30 to like the Chargers 20, easy. Every single play, 10 yards, 5 yards, 8 yards, 20 yards, whatever, right? Then once you get to the red zone, it's just stalled. Yeah. And I'm like, what's going on here? Like, why are these 20 yards different than the last 60? The last 50, the last 70. But yeah, it was a pretty interesting game on both sides of the ball. I say the offensive part of the Cowboys was really odd to watch, except the run game, which I'm very, very surprised about.
Tony Pollard, baby, running back one.
Well, we'll get to that in a little bit. But on the defensive side of the ball, I'm a little impressed, but also a little yikes.
Should we break it down as far as going through the units? Let's start with the offense. Because I feel like that's the best way to think about it, because we can talk about the Tampa Bay game as well, since you weren't here for that. But let's first talk about this offense, because you brought it up. It's so weird how this team just flies by the first 80 yards or the first 60 yards if they're starting at the 20-25. And they actually finally broke a streak this past weekend.
I saw that.
And I feel like that has always stood out to me. and I always question it after the first drive offensively for the Cowboys, is why do they just get chunk yardage play after play, and then once we get to their side of the field around the 40 to 30, one thing goes wrong and it completely falls apart. One penalty, one play that doesn't fall into the rhythm of things, like a drop pass or like an incompletion. Or
like one play for loss or something like that.
One play for loss, and then they completely shatter the rest of like the drive, like, and settle for a field goal or maybe no points at all. But this was the first time in over 2 years where the Cowboys have scored on their opening drive a touchdown, not just a field goal.
That's so weird to think about, because like, you know, you see all these games and you're like, you get used to it and you're like, oh, whatever, it is what it is, right? Like, we'll score like 30 in the next 3 quarters, but the first time in 2 years on the opening drive, that's concerning, but also like, okay, they got it off their chest now. Let's start doing it more. Yeah.
I mean, they finally did like that streak. They finally got rid of it, but then they went 2 quarters without scoring, or 3 quarters without scoring a touchdown. It's like it's a give and go type of thing, and this is where I like have an issue with this, because our certainty coming to the season was this offense was going to be really good. Like, that was our basis of like, we don't need to worry about this offense like at all. Like, they're going to score points. I'm not feeling that way after week 2, when all these ridiculous, like, optimistic fans and analysts of the Cowboys are saying like, this Chargers defense is pretty beaten up and the Cowboys can have a really good day. Well, like that was really disappointing to me. And the thing is that you get all the yardage. Tony Pollard goes for over 100 yards, which we don't see often. Ezekiel Elliott having a really good day on the ground, looked really fast. Like, can we just briefly say, like,
he looked explosive, he looked on point, he was cutting tackles, he was cutting holes. It was
he had
the
bursts.
First time I've seen that's the first time I've seen Zeke play that well in, like, the beginning of last year.
Oh, I would go far, but I don't think I've seen this wow sensation of like watching Zeke play since his rookie year.
It was nice to see finally.
Yeah. And of course they really honed in on running the football. Yeah. Even with the offensive line issues, as far as Lyle Collins being suspended for 5 games and Terrence Steele being in there, which was scaring me. And then the lack of running in week 1. So I mean, I love seeing that. Like, if the option is there to run the football, we have options. Like, there is a possibility of getting big yardage or controlling the offensive line or the trenches to run the football effectively. And then without Michael Gallup, you see a lot more Amari Cooper. CeeDee Lamb is just a fucking monster, dude.
CeeDee Lamb is officially like the new safety blanket there in Dallas, right? You know, like, for a long time it was always Jason Witten, it was always Cole Beasley, but now it's CeeDee. I think every single time CeeDee touched the ball, it was a great play. Every single time yesterday, it was a great play.
Even if he ran the ball, like, from the backfield,
it was a good play. Yeah,
like, it's really nice to see that he had like a few drops in week 1, and then I didn't even think about that until right now, because he was completely reliable in this game, and he went off. He had the most receptions by a large margin from everybody. So 81 yards, didn't get the end zone, but like, Dak Prescott only threw for 237 yards compared to like over 400 in week 1. Didn't have a touchdown. He had that 1 interception, which was his fault. Like, that was like one of the bad throws that we'll rarely see out of Dak.
It was a really odd play. It looked like there was receiver confusion a little bit too, but even if there was, like, it looked like the ball kind of like split both of them. So it's kind of like, what happened there?
It was too short for Amari, but a little bit too high for CeeDee.
Yeah.
I felt like CeeDee maybe could have attempted it and broken up the play if it doesn't end up being a catch.
Yeah.
But Dak Prescott immediately said, like, that's on me. Yeah, I'm fine with that. Like, that was like the one mistake he made all game. Yeah. But we're talking about the execution of this offense. This is where I don't feel like this team differs from any other year, and this is where we're going to disagree, because my thing about the Cowboys is execution and finishing. If your offense, that is considered one of the best offenses in the league, only gets into the red zone twice in this game, they only found the red zone twice in this game for being such an explosive offense and having so many yards on the ground and with CeeDee Lamb. You only found the red zone twice, and then even then you had to settle for field goals, including the end. Like, we got to talk about that last minute of clock management.
Oh, yeah.
It's so bad. We'll get to that a little bit later.
Yeah.
But throughout this game, how can you consider yourself a high-octane, explosive offense against I would say average to a little bit above average Chargers defense that you've had success with all day, and you don't score a touchdown for 3 full quarters of this game? That's concerning. You can talk about how Terrence Steele played really good against Joey Bosa. I give you that. Like, this offensive line has played really good through 2 weeks. I get that. And you get to see the passing and running game in both of these games so far. But in the end, you couldn't finish against Tampa, and you didn't execute at all through 3 quarters against LA. That's my problem.
So I'll make a point for each game real quick. So specifically with the Tampa game, the reason why I say that I am impressed with the way they play and what they played in Tampa is because, look, we said it in the episode before that game. We both said that we were expecting a game where it was going to be like 35 to like 14, 35 to like 17, something like that, right? And it ended up being a 2-point game where, I mean, let's be realistic. We gave Tom Brady way too much time. Come on. You don't give Tom Brady a minute of time.
No, you gave him the ball. That was the problem. You gave him the ball at the end of the game.
Basically. So, but other than that, look, the offense against Tampa, I could not believe how good they were playing against a defense that, you know, notoriously is known for ruining a quarterback's day. And Dak threw for 400 and 3 touchdowns. Am I saying that, oh my God, this is the revelation of the Cowboys? No, I'm not. That's the point I'm trying to make, that even though I am very impressed the way they played against Tampa, that doesn't mean they're, you know, the second coming of the 90s Cowboys. I'm just saying that the way the offense played, the way the offensive line handled that Tampa Bay front defense. Look, man, I know you've been on his ass ever since, you know, he got drafted, basically. But you can't sit there and say that Connor Williams has not done pretty good these first 2 games. You have to admit that.
I still think that once Lyle Collins comes back, Connor McGovern should take over for Connor Williams.
Okay.
I will give you that. I will say that Connor Williams has played better than usual. But that's kind of like my issue with everything, is that, like, we're like super impressed by certain individuals and performances when this should be like the expectation. Like, it shouldn't be like, wow, like we finally get to see them play good. Why should we be excited about that? Or why should we be surprised about it? Like, we should expect this from them. We should expect Connor Williams in his like 3rd or 4th year in the league to finally like be the starter. Like, I'm still having concerns that he should be the starter. I'm good with Lyle Collins. I'm good with like Zach Barr. I'm good with Tyron Smith, right? Like, Connor Williams, like, it's like, I know you're trying to sell me on it, but I'm not sold. Sold. And there's a few more guys that I'll say that about, especially with this performance. But like, finish your point before I get into mine.
Well, really quick, all I was gonna say about the Tampa Bay, because I was gonna say how the offensive line played against Tampa. How the defense did not play lights out, obviously, in Tampa, right? But hey, Trevon Diggs, he played better than I expected.
Trevon Diggs is the second best player on this defense right now.
Yeah, he played better than I expected. Micah Parsons is coming out with a fire under his ass, and he's playing amazing. We'll get to him in when we talk about the defense later. For some whatever reason, even Leighton Vander Esch is playing somewhat decent, better than last year. The other corners, I don't want to talk about them. They pissed me off.
Oh, so now we're avoiding the other corners.
Well, we've already said this in multiple other times. I don't like Anthony Brown. I'm not really a fan of Jordan Lewis. We've said this multiple times.
But I feel like the narrative is that like Trevon Diggs is really good. Oh yeah, about everyone else.
But we know this though. That's the thing.
That's the problem, Kevin. That's the problem. Is that we shouldn't just deal with it. Good teams. We watched the Chiefs and the Ravens last night. We watched a Chiefs team be completely dominated in the Super Bowl on the offensive line. Their offensive line was absolutely horrible for one game.
Okay.
And the Kansas City Chiefs said, fuck it. We'll just revamp this whole thing and we will start fresh. And everything is new there. It took them one game and less than an off season to do so.
Okay,
Hear me out.
Okay.
We are what? 5-6 years into Anthony Brown. We are 5-6 years into Jordan Lewis. We are 5-6 years into all these different safeties before this year. We are heavily invested in some of these guys for years, knowing that they're bad, knowing that they're trash, and they cannot be a starter anywhere else but in Dallas. And we deal with it. We deal with it because, you know what? We just don't want to make the effort of revamping this whole thing and starting fresh. We'll start fresh in Kansas City because they're winning titles. They're winning championships, or they're contending for championships. But because the Cowboys are division winner contenders and not Super Bowl contenders, it's okay that we don't do anything to that cornerback position. We're just going to let Anthony Brown stay on the field. We're just going to let him get torched by Antonio Brown and get him torched by whoever he's going against, like Mike Williams or Jalen Guyton. Because he played bad. He played bad again.
I know he did.
He played better in compared to week one, but that's because it was so bad in week one. But what I'm feeling from you and from like other people that are very optimistic and happy about this win is that we're just content with Anthony Brown being on the field because Trevon Diggs is good enough.
Okay. You are looking at this from an organizational aspect of a team that is literally known to not care. Okay? Me and you have already talked about this, and we've already agreed with this. We know the Cowboys don't know how to go out and get a free agent corner. We know they don't know how to draft a good corner. They've already failed 3 times at getting a corner. And the last one was even more miserable than the previous one. Look, all I'm trying to say is that you're looking at these games because you have that like organizational background just hitting you over and over and over again. And you're just like, oh, well, damn. And I don't blame you for having it because, I mean, shit, I have it too. But I'm just accepting the fact that, look, and we've already said this multiple times, and other people in the sports industry have already said this as well. As long as Jerry Jones is the owner of the Dallas Cowboys, nothing will change. Nothing. I don't know what it is. We thought about 6-7 years ago that when his son was finally going to step in and do stuff, maybe something would change. Obviously not. All I'm trying to say is that I'm going at it game by game. Is it a very optimistic way to look at the Cowboys? Sure, of course it is. I completely agree with you. But I think you are so hateful for good reason. I don't blame you.
I'm so negative. I know. I'm an asshole. I know it.
I know. And that's what I'm trying to say is that you are so hateful because of all the stuff we know about the organization, or if anything, the lack thereof, organizational talent, that you just can't seem to be like, oh yeah, that was a pretty good game. Oh yeah, we got a W. Hey, lighten up, asshole. Look, just to round off my point so we can get back to the offense. Look, all I'm going to say is this. Dude, I 100% agree with why you have that viewpoint. Trust me, I do. We've had multiple conversations off camera about this stuff. I'm 100% on your side. I agree. Everything that you're saying, I completely agree with your point. But dude, take that aside for 1 minute.
I can't. No.
No.
No. You know what? No.
Yes, you can. Yes,
No.
you can.
You have a voice now. You went Hollywood. You have connections now. You probably have Jerry Jones's number on your phone.
If I did, he wouldn't listen to me. What does it matter?
You have the power. You have the ability to change things. I don't want to hear that this was a good win. This was a terrible win.
No, I'm not talking about this one. I'm not talking about this one. You can't tell me that playing against the Super Bowl champion Buccaneers in Tampa Bay, almost beating
I'll
them?
say it in Spanish. No.
You can't say that. You can't say that that was a good effort from our offense.
It's Dak Prescott.
Well, Dak Prescott is our all offense, so you're basically saying yes.
Okay, yes. Okay.
But I'm not telling you the defense was good. I never said that. I just said that I'm impressed by a couple players that showed out. We all know the other ones are kind of just there. We all know that. But you're so tunnel vision.
How can I be impressed when I've seen the Tampa Bay Bucks play at a high level? Like for 8 straight games last year, including like from like the regular season to the Super Bowl, they played phenomenal football.
From what? Say that again?
From like when they finally got off like the up and down like roller coaster of the regular season, and then they really like turned it on.
Yeah.
You get me?
And
then they went on that 8-game winning streak and then ended with the Super Bowl. They played some of the best football I've ever seen, right? Mm-hmm. That wasn't the same Bucks team that was in week 1. How can I be impressed when I saw the worst version of the Super Bowl champions on the field and the Cowboys still lost? How can I be impressed when I see the worst version of Justin Herbert and the Los Angeles Chargers and the Cowboys barely won?
Okay, but you're looking at it in the way how we always talk about Aaron Rodgers. You're saying that this is the worst version of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers when their worst version is like still a top 5 team in the NFL.
Should they have won? Should the Cowboys have won in week 1 based on the stats and based on performances? Yes or no?
No.
What? You're going to look at that stat sheet and tell me that if you put Team A and Team B, you didn't put the names next to them. You didn't put that it's the Super Bowl champions against Dallas Cowboys. If it was Team A and Team B, and Team A had the Cowboy stats, Team B had the Bucs stats, you're telling me that if you looked at that and said Team A should have won.
But that's the thing. We've always said this. We always said that there's no point in scoring 40 if you're gonna lose by 42.
So how are we happy with this?
Because
we're back to the same point.
Cowboys.
How are we happy? Why are we happy with a terrible fucking offensive performance and a mid-tier defense that showed maybe they're not so bad after all?
Dude, I'm talking about the Bucks game. I'm not talking about the Charger game.
Putting them both together because really, like, they're the same thing. Do you think Justin Herbert played well?
No, but you can't compare Justin Herbert to Tom Brady.
They're really good quarterbacks in a really good offense.
You're saying Justin Herbert is better than Tom Brady or at the same
when
level
they're
as
playing
Tom Brady?
this defense? Absolutely.
There's no way you just said that.
You
were the one that roasted me.
This Cowboys defense is so
Tom Brady was probably
it's bad.
Not top 10.
It's so bad still. Like they're giving up big run plays. They're giving up big plays down the field. If you throw it in the direction of Anthony Brown, it's getting caught. It's getting caught. But we're so like we're just, you said tunnel vision. We're so tunnel vision on Micah Parsons, Trevon Diggs, these turnovers. They don't mean anything. How many points did they get off turnover? 6? They had 2 field goals.
It was a 2 field goal, yeah.
Why aren't we getting touchdowns? This offense is so good, right? Why aren't we getting touchdowns against a Chargers defense?
I don't understand why you're molding them together. I literally already explained to you that when
the
it comes
Cowboys,
to the Chargers game, I agree with you. When it comes to the Chargers game, I agree with you. I'm talking about the Bucks game. The Bucks game. The Chargers game is a whole different story that we were going to get to after I finished my Bucks point. You're over here combining both of them, and I'm talking about one single game.
Because there's no difference in the performance between the Cowboys in week 1 and week 2. There's no difference as far as finishing. You can put up all the points you want. You can score less points than you did the week before. But you didn't finish. You didn't execute properly. You didn't win the matchups you needed to win.
You're telling me that these Cowboys that almost won, notice how I say almost, didn't finish better last week than this week? Or vice versa, I'm sorry?
They finished better this week than last week?
Well, no, they finished better last week than this week.
Well, yeah, because they put up more points on the board.
What I'm saying.
But
that's my whole point.
But that's not a good thing.
That's Lutz, look. I'll end it with this, so we can actually talk about the Chargers game. When we're talking about the Bucs game, talking about just the Bucs game, you cannot sit here and tell me that the way they played compared to the way we thought they were gonna play. Okay, are we on the same page on that?
I got you.
Okay,
I'm gonna disagree with you.
Way better than expected. Way better than expected. Am I saying, like I said, I'm not saying they're the second coming of the 90s Cowboys by far.
I'm not saying that you're saying that.
But I just can't seem to fathom how you don't agree that almost beating the Bucs, and if you want to say the same point of like, oh, they're the worst version of the Bucs, they're still a top 5 team at their worst. No matter what.
No, they're not. If they took that team to the playoffs last year, they're not winning any games. They would have lost to the Packers handedly if they played the way that they did in week 1.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
I am like, I'm having an epiphany right now. I am locked in. I am woke right now.
We are in two very different stratospheres on the Bucs.
And this is why we needed an episode last week, but you didn't show up.
Sorry, school sucks. Okay, now moving on to the Chargers game. Now that we're on the Chargers game, right?
I'm sweating.
I've been sweating. Now that we're on the Chargers game, I think we're both in agreement on the Chargers game.
I hope we are.
Look, I just said it like about 10 minutes ago. The way how the Cowboys literally like, dude, you could have gone from your couch to the fridge, get a beer, and come back, and they were already at the Chargers like 30-yard line, 20-yard line. But then just right there, it just stopped. Why? I don't know. Like you said, it's an average defense from the Chargers. There has to be a little extra finish. You like that? Has to be a little extra finish there. I guess when it comes to the offense, I think we can both agree that the running took over yesterday's game, which was
good to see.
It was pretty good to see. Pretty good to see. Not gonna lie, but
trade Zeke and start Pollard. Thank you.
Yeah, I would like to see more out of an. Okay, no, it's not 96 anymore. It's what was it? 90, 92? What was the cap hit? Because they restructured his contract. Remember? Or did they just restructure like how they paid him?
That's a good question. I think it was the way that they paid him.
Oh, okay. I thought he was like, hey, like, I'll lose $4 million to like cover the cap.
I never really looked into it, but I know that it's like it changes from signing bonuses or vice versa. Like he gets more money earlier in the season, after the season, whatever.
Okay, well then my phrase still stands. I would like to see more out of a $96 million running back.
Right. Yeah.
Compared to a second-round player.
That's like I think is making $4 million right now.
Who is look? It was great to see Zeke with that like 2016, 2018 explosiveness, but Tony Pollard is running every single play like if he's running for his life. Hard, right? So that was refreshing to see. The offensive line minus Terrence Steele, because Terrence Steele did give up some plays, played pretty well.
No, he played
opinion.
Better than usual.
But his usual is not very much up there.
But when I bring up that argument, it's not a good argument.
Look, all I'm saying is it was very nice to see the running game come back, because that's what the Cowboys have been known for the last what? Well, not the last 2 years, but
I miss you, DeMarco.
Ill. No.
What?
So
who are you missing? Who are you missing? Felix Jones?
DeMarco Murray? Dude. I think we have,
You're just mad because he went to the Eagles.
Yeah.
Yeah, move on.
No. Hold on. You're saying that year you would have kept DeMarco Murray over Dez Bryant? Dez Bryant in his prime?
Well, this was 2015?
2014.
2014? Well, no, DeMarco was still there. That was their best year.
Well, 2014 to 2015.
I would have kept DeMarco.
Okay.
I mean, looking at it now, yes, but in the moment, probably Dez, because DeMarco wanted that money. But looking at it, it doesn't matter.
Anyway, but yeah. So for this game, running game, pretty damn good. I'm surprised. I'm happy. I'm glad it's made a return, I guess. For lack of better words.
I am fine with individual performances that happened yesterday, but you got to score more points.
Oh, I agree. For that game, you have to score more points.
And play calling was really not good. I will say that week 1 play calling, absolutely phenomenal from Kellen Moore.
Yesterday's play calling was a little weird because I feel like he tried doing new stuff, but it doesn't look like they practiced it enough because it just looked weird. It looked wonky.
Mike McCarthy's the coach. They don't practice hard.
He wears windbreakers every day.
He wears like 3 layers of clothing when it's 100 degrees outside. That's not normal.
Dude's a freak.
Dude's weird.
Yeah.
And then you tell him about clock management. Guarantee you he doesn't know what that is.
No, we're not there yet.
We're not there yet. Let's both
go off on
defense. Micah Parsons is great. Like, Trevon Diggs is great.
This was the point that I was gonna make about Micah Parsons though, and why it's a little scary. Why is it that Micah Parsons is good at every position, and better than the people at that position?
That dude's like made in a lab. He was made in a lab.
Dude, tell me the last time Randy Gregory played defensive end like how Micah Parsons played yesterday.
Dude, like, for all the hype that we had on Randy Gregory going into the season, like, before he went on the COVID list, which, by the way, is just stupid at this point that, like, players are going on the COVID list in Dallas. Like, everyone's vaccinated, basically. But, like, Randy Gregory was nowhere to be seen in week 1. Not once did I hear his name being called. I honestly wrote down in my notes for week 1 that Dorrance Armstrong looked better than Randy Gregory.
Dorrance Armstrong looked good too yesterday.
Dorrance Armstrong has been getting a lot of playing time.
Yeah,
he looked good. It's actually like intriguing because I know that they love him in Dallas, but I've just not been like completely confident in him being like the edge rusher for this team. Now they have no choice, but I mean, like, if Micah Parsons is not in this game, this is completely different. But I also think that like
so many.
It was good pressures in good moments, like on a third down, but I still don't think this is like a good enough performance for this team. Like, there were multiple times where the Chargers had 3rd and 10 plus, and they got the first down.
Converted it.
And they converted. Yeah. And that's just unacceptable for a defense to do, no matter who you are and how great you're playing. And then the fact that, like, these interceptions, like Trevon Diggs made a great play, like really great play. And then that one,
the first interception,
like the first interception, great fucking play. The one in the end zone from Curse played well. The safeties played well. I will give them that.
Safeties, surprisingly, they played really well.
Like, as a collective, like Malik Hooker looked good at the beginning, kind of fell off, and then Curse and Casey stepped up after that. So hopefully we'll see a lot more of Hooker once he gets more accustomed to like playing more.
Yeah, because he didn't play week 1.
He didn't play week 1, and he really didn't have a lot of practice time this week. My thing is that, like, if those penalties aren't called on those touchdowns and some of the calls aren't made, like that one sack where he's backpedaling and they just called it.
That has to be one of the worst calls I've ever seen in my life.
Like, we might as well just talk about the referees because it really impacted the Chargers offense.
Like, okay, but here's the thing though. What I will say is that there was a pretty split 50-50 on the refs and the lack of discipline for the Chargers. But that 50% of the refs just outweighs so much more because they made some bad calls. They made bad calls.
Listen, the amount of penalties was shocking for this LA team. Like, out of Brandon Staley, dude, it's like 12. I think it's 12.
The Chargers erased like what, almost 2 touchdowns because of like dumb offensive line
it
penalties?
literally was 2 touchdowns because they scored on those plays and then brought them back.
Yeah.
If you're gonna make that argument that the refs cost the Chargers the game, I'm gonna be a little hesitant there because I think we can both agree that there was calls both ways that were absolutely terrible.
Absolutely, 100%.
Like they had that one pass interference call on, I think it was Diggs.
Trevon Diggs on Mike Williams.
On Mike Williams, where they called it pass interference. Or no, I think it was Jared Cook. I think he was on Jared Cook.
Was it Jared Cook?
Because he that's a big boy, so you gotta be physical with him.
Was it the curl route on the left side of the field?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Then you know what? Then it was Jared Cook. I think. You're right.
So like that call like drastically impacts that game. The running into the kicker, roughing the kicker. I think that's a terrible call by John Fossil.
It was a very bad call. Yeah.
But he literally got pushed, and there was nowhere for him to go. And then of course the backpedaling thing. Like, they had over 20 penalties called or accepted. There were still more that were declined. I felt like they missed about 15 penalties. I don't know if you saw this, but I felt like there were multiple plays on both sides to where there was a false start and they didn't call it.
That's so funny you mentioned that. I was watching the game with my dad, and I think I almost called like you said 5 or 6 times where I was like, what the hell? Like it's like a false start or even too, like, I don't know if you saw it too, but there were multiple times where, hey, Michael Parsons jumped the ball a lot, and he should have been called offsides multiple times.
Yeah, I could agree with that.
He got called once for it, but there were other times where they jumped the ball. Nick Bosa jumped the ball a lot too.
Yes, he did. Yeah.
So I agree with you. I completely agree with what you're saying though. Like it's not on the refs that the Chargers lost that game because they lost the game themselves. Let's be fair about that. But
they shot themselves in the foot a lot.
But
I will say they ruined the game. They ruined the game.
But those calls that were bad, yikes! Those are big yikes. They're bad calls. Real bad calls.
Yeah. So it was an off day for the Chargers, like not just like the penalties and their discipline, but also Justin Herbert. I didn't feel like he played well compared to what I've seen.
He played bad in my opinion.
Yeah.
He played bad.
Like the decisions he was making, the lack of playmaking when he did have the ball in his hands, like very uncharacteristic for him. Austin Eckler was playing well, and then they kind of just forgot about him. Like they didn't give him the ball. Then he gets injured off like a really bad call for unnecessary roughness on Trevon Diggs. I absolutely love Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, and Jalen Guyton, who's come up from North Texas, by the way.
Keenan Allen needs to do better. He's on my fantasy team.
I mean, he did great in week 1. You should be grateful.
I still lost.
Well, that's on you. I don't get how that's on Keenan Allen.
No, it's on Jason Sanders. It's on Jason Sanders.
Well, I mean, if you rely on a kicker, you're kind of doing something wrong there, bud.
I put in Corey Davis by accident.
In week 1 or week 2?
Week 2, yesterday.
Oof.
Yeah.
Oof. I mean, you can't really blame Corey for that.
No, you can't.
No, you got to blame all the ghosts that were on the field for Zach Wilson.
I laughed so hard when I saw that interview. It was great. It was great.
I mean, I was like thinking about it. I was like, it's the Sam Darnold game, and he's literally seen ghosts. But anyways, so like on a scale of 1 to 10, how confident are you in this defense after 2 weeks?
The defense after 2 weeks? Ugh.
Or how would you rate them 1 to 10?
Like a 4 or 5.
I was thinking 4.
Like a 4 or 5. I think this defense is playing better than last season so far.
Yes.
But it's not that high of a bar.
Yeah, when you're 50 feet deep in shit, and you're now 25 feet
Like that's
and
pretty
shit.
good. Like you're moving up.
Hey,
but I
you're-
mean, it's
still shit.
it's not. Yeah. So, look, I think the thing that like impresses me the most about this defense is that so far these first 2 weeks, the linebackers and the defensive line has been playing pretty decent. It's just like I mentioned earlier, when it comes to the secondary, it's just really Trevon Diggs. And then it was cool. It was cool that, DeMonte Casey and Ron Curse and Emily Hooker, like, they played pretty good at safety, right? That's great, right? But, like, where was that last week when washed up Antonio Brown looked like his former self again? It's I think it's just the secondary has been and is continuing to be the problem. Like I said earlier, I'm happy that it looks like Leighton Vander Esch is kind of getting back to form, but not really, because he's still missing some plays. Micah Parsons was made in the lab. We already discussed this.
Keanu Neal had some good plays. Good
Keanu
tackling.
Neal did have some good plays. Dorrance Armstrong is great. I mean, he's playing pretty damn good. The other guy that I can't pronounce his name that you can, because I keep forgetting it.
Osa Odigizua?
Yeah.
Those guys inside, I don't feel like they've been tested yet, though.
He's doing his job for now. That's all I'm gonna say. Doing his job for now. I feel like once we go to play a team with an actual good offensive line, we'll see. But at least for now, he's doing his job.
You forgot about the greatest linebacker of all time.
No, I didn't. That was the point.
But sir, he played so well yesterday. I mean, he's back.
You know what? You're right. I actually did see him do his signature
The swipe?
scoop or whatever it's called. Yeah, scoop swipe. I don't know.
Well, I would assume that I'm going to see a tweet in the next 24 hours from Poof that
I like Puff.
Poof is great, right? But
Yeah.
I question their credibility if they're saying that Jalen Smith is the most efficient guy on this defense. He made good plays yesterday. He made good plays to where he actually tackled the guy and not gave up a chunk of yardage after contact. And then he got to the flats. He did his thing. Why should we be super impressed with the most basic things you should do as a linebacker? Why? Why should we be ecstatic that Jalen Smith finally knows how to play football again? Congratulations, dude. You did the bare minimum as a linebacker. Now do it for another 15 weeks. We'll see you then. I don't want to hear this Jalen Ramsey or Jalen Smith is back and that he's better than ever.
Why are you so hateful?
Because this team should be.
Why
this
can't you
team
be
is
happy
0-2 in my head.
Why can't you be happy for a guy's performance? Okay? Because see, this is your problem. Okay? This is your problem, okay? You literally hold every single player on this Cowboy team to the most Hall of Fame worthy status of all time.
Whoa.
And
I
then
think
they
what you're
have,
trying to say is I hold them accountable for doing their job. They should do their job.
Well, technically they're doing their job. They're just not doing it good enough.
These technicalities are really pissing me off.
I hope you know that all this is just to get you mad. I love it so much.
It doesn't take a lot because I'm already mad inside.
Like literally the whole Buccaneers game thing, I could have ended it a long time ago, but I just like to see you.
No, I was gonna keep going no matter what.
Like I'm your Max Kellerman. Oh wait, I'm sorry, rip Max Kellerman. He's not there anymore.
Well, that
I'm your
makes sense
Michael
because
Irvin.
you piss me the fuck off if I'm Stephen A. Smith.
Look. Here's the thing. I'm your Max Kellerman, right? And I see things the way that they should be, week by week.
Oh, okay. You're the right one here.
Yeah, I'm the right one. So,
Have anything that I have said not been right?
I already told you. I agree with you. You're just so hateful. Relax.
But I'm right.
I know you're right, but relax.
We'll end it on the special teams because if you want to get me fucking mad, I'm ready to get fucking mad. All right?
We're not done yet. We saw something else out of special teams.
Yeah, but all right. If we're gonna combine the two games, the one thing I will combine, and you will allow this, is the special teams play is god awful.
It's pretty bad.
It is like, remember Keith O'Quinn, like before John Fossil? Like,
Yeah.
remember those days?
When there was like 40 yards of grass between who was returning kicks at the time?
It was
Tavon Austin.
it was Tavon Austin.
When there was like 30 yards of grass before the first guy even was like gonna get to him, and he still called the fair catch because that's what like he was supposed to do. Yeah, I do remember that actually. Yes.
Has it gotten any better in your opinion? Because my answer is no.
CD had a 15-yard run yesterday.
Never mind. I will shut up because obviously things are great in Dallas and they're winning the Super Bowl.
I wonder if it's like, because look, the Rams special team was amazing under him, right?
The best in the NFL. Statistically, they were the best in the NFL.
I want to know exactly what is the difference between the Rams special teams and our special teams that John Fossil cannot do what he did here. Is it lack of discipline? Is it lack of talent on the special teams? Is it lack of brain power? I don't know. I'm just confused.
I hear an A, B, and C, and I will put a right-in answer of D, all of the above, sir.
Yeah. It's I don't know, man. It's weird.
How do we go from Keith O'Quinn, that is getting illegal blocks in the back, holding calls, roughing the kicker, roughing the passer, missed field goals, bad punts, and we haven't changed one bit. I don't care if Greg the Leg Zerline is kicking 56 yarders to win the game every single week. The fact that there is still penalties on special teams, there is still like bad play as far as like defensive special teams of like the punts, like not getting a block, or like when you try to block you get a penalty, and then like not getting any return yards on kickoffs or punts, and nothing, like no one talks about it when it's literally a third of the game. It's a third of the game that decides whether or not you win or not, and everybody doesn't give a shit. And John Fossil comes out and says, well, I thought the Cowboys fans would want us to block it, so we try to block it. That's your answer? That's your excuse. So execution and discipline, nowhere to be seen. You just trying to make us happy. Okay, I want John Fossil fired immediately. Is that fair?
Everything up until you said John Fossil fired. Relax.
No, because that like
relax.
Because all of last season did we not see the same things?
I think it's a good option that we go looking next season, or maybe like halfway, how it usually happens.
Oh, I'm not lasting 15 more games.
Yeah, but you don't last anything.
That's my ex-wife.
Look, okay, I guess we'll end it off on something that we both were very pissed off about yesterday. Hey, Mike, you know how to read a clock?
Oh my god. Why do I cheer for this team?
Hey, McCarthy, you know that you still had a timeout?
I get it. You had to use one timeout because Amari Cooper got banged up. Which
No. Remember, there was something in the way of the scoreboard. That's why he didn't see the timeout, Lutz. That's what happened. Remember.
it's a $5 billion stadium. There's more than one screen. This is not Dallas. You don't have just one screen to look at. You got everywhere around you. Everywhere.
No, but remember, like the headset connection was kind of wonky, Lutz. Remember. Remember that?
All he needed was a pair of eyeballs and a brain.
But Lutz, I'm just kidding. Dude,
At this
remember-
point, I think so because this is not the first time this has happened.
was
It's
like-
probably not
I-
going to be
I-
the last.
What was it exactly? It was like 25 seconds when they actually like stopped the play. Then it
Well,
ran
like
down to 7.
the play ended in the middle of the field.
Yeah.
It was 22 seconds. They
It
had
was like 22, right?
they had a timeout, and
They could have easily done a quick out route for another 7-8 yards and made the kick even easier.
Yeah.
But
no.
no.
And
They
it's
wanted-
not. It wasn't even just Mike McCarthy. The players on the field were not running toward the line of scrimmage. They were walking. Tony Pollard was literally casually having a stroll through the park of SoFi Stadium as the clock is running.
Yeah.
And-
I was like screaming at my TV when I saw that happening.
If he would have missed that field goal, granted, Greg Zuerlein, for the week that you had, and the amount of criticism and blame that you had, good for you. Good for you to come
for
back. And his kicks looked really good. His kicks all around throughout the game. I know you're blurry as fuck, but we're just
Jesus.
rolling through it.
Yeah.
They looked good. They were Greg Zuerlein type of kicks that we're accustomed to in Los Angeles, right?
Yeah, they were. They really were.
And in 2 weeks where he had to make the field goal, like it was dire situation, the one in week 1 and this one in week 2, he made the field goals. Good for you. But the fact that it had to be a 56-yarder instead of a 48 or 50 because of how bad your coaching staff is at recognizing basic football fundamentals is a fireable offense. It's a fireable offense because this is not the last time we're going to see it. Kevin, this is not the first time. This is not the last time.
I mean, you're not wrong.
Thank you. But I'm not so...
Look, I think overall, if I were to grade the Cowboys for this performance yesterday, I would give them like a C minus.
Oh, wow.
Maybe even a. You know what? I'll give them a C.
It's a D.
That's what they deserve. That's the D.
I thought you were going to go higher.
No.
I was thinking C+.
No.
No. Okay.
No. Now for the Bucks game,
That's a C.
give them a B minus.
That hurts.
B minus.
That hurts. You
Because, but on that B minus, because like a B minus is like 80 to 85.
right.
Like the offense gets like 79 of those points, and like the defense gets like 4 or 5.
Is it like to where you failed like the actual part of the test, but their extra credit like gets you the points back?
Yeah, like the Cowboys did like their part, and then like the offense did their part, and then they got the extra credit to make up for what the defense did.
Yeah. I mean, I was thinking after week 1 and everyone's like analysis on the game of like how good the Cowboys played, I felt like we were grading on a curve. I felt like
Yeah.
like they were so bad defensively last year, and then like Dak Prescott, we didn't know what he was going to do after the injury. So our expectations were pretty low. Oh, but everyone failed, so we're just going to put like another like 40 points on the board.
I mean, yeah, that's why I gave them a B minus. Tampa Bay game B minus.
So you're
Charger
letting
game.
you're letting the kid that literally is the stupidest kid in school get a passing grade.
Everyone needs to be happy now and then.
You know what? Okay. You said that, and it touched my heart a little bit. Like, I felt like the Grinch there. My heart grew a little bit bigger. So you know what? In week 3, Monday Night Football against the Philadelphia Eagles, and I know this game's going to be fucking terrible. I mean, I know this game's going to be ugly. Right? Because the Eagles are, like, good enough to compete against the Cowboys, but realistically, the Cowboys should win this game. And that's not how it's going to go down, right? Like, it's going to go completely different in our heads. I'm going to go into this game on Monday night with a glass half full mentality.
Dude, it's literally what I've been telling you for the last 3 weeks about these Cowboys.
I'm going to compliment any player, I will give compliments to Anthony Brown. I will do that for the next week for you and only you Everybody else that's listening to this or watching
I
this,
don't like Anthony Brown though. Can you pick another player?
he's a nice guy off the field, and you know what? He didn't give up almost 200 yards in week 2. See?
You know
It
who
starts
you are?
now.
You know who you are? You're those people. I mean, you're that kind of person that goes into movies literally from 4 months out, like already shitting on the movie. And then when you go into the movie, like 5 minutes in, it has one mistake and you crash it. That's it. That's who you are. That's who you are. The movie could be pretty damn good. Pretty damn good.
I felt
But no,
that. I looked you in the eyes and I felt that.
The main character crushed a fly in the first 5 minutes. Oh, he's an asshole. Awful movie. Awful movie. That's who you are. That's who you are.
If the main character is Anthony Brown, are you going to be excited?
No, not Anthony Brown.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm not going to discredit Anthony Brown's acting abilities. So if he wants to go Hollywood and be an actor, I think he'd be great at it.
Yeah, he acts like a cornerback.
Ooh, there's no comeback for me on that one, folks. So we're going to end it on that one. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been episode 238. A really good episode. I hope
Really
the audio
good.
doesn't fuck up again. But this has been great. I don't know if you're going to be back for other episodes this week. We'll talk about it. But
This week maybe, yeah, because
yes.
the first tests are finally over.
All right, so review on week 2 of the NFL will come out later this week. Winners and losers, of course, we can never forget about winners and losers. And then the preview for the Cowboys game will probably come out this weekend since it is a Monday night game.
It is a Monday night game, yeah.
So, plenty of things to consume from Bubba Lutz. I will give you plenty of me for you to consume.
Oh, God. I didn't like the way you looked at the camera when you were saying that.
I'm sweating. We need to end this. Okay. Once again, anchor.fm/Bubba Lutz to become a paid member. Follow, subscribe, like, comment, stalk me. I don't care. I really don't care. I'll take it. I'll take it. I just want to be a ladies' man like Kevin. So we'll see you next time on the Bubba Lutz Sports Podcast.
Yeah, hold on. Tell me who's your top 5 quarterbacks right now, dead or alive, huh? And how much do you care about a ring if the best player got carried by the team? Now would you lose if it been a better draft pick? And do you cuss when your team get their ass kicked?